This is Judge Quinta back again with another vidcast. Oh. I think you set everything up. It'll go away. Let's try this again. Hello again. This is Judge Quinta again with some more insight into development on voice app platforms. This vidcast, I'll be talking about how to make money on voice apps. This is something that, a lot of people have been asking about. Certainly I've been doing a number of interviews and articles and stuff like that, and that seems to be the one pressing thing. A lot of people, it's getting more popular and stuff like that, so people are like, okay, how do I make money on this? And I have some thoughts and comments on that, that I've recently been able to systemize into it. Okay, here's step-by-step approaches you can take if your ambition is to make money on this platform. And that's great. Not everybody does. I mean, a lot of people embrace this platform because it's an interesting way to learn about programming. They're excited about the technology, and they don't really care about the money, and that's fine. This might be of some interest to you, but this is more sort of geared at people who are like, is there an opportunity here? Can I make money on this? Is it worth my time? If I'm looking at it for something more than just personal interest. So, I'm going to break this up into two parts. There's going to be this talk, which is on the easy way, and the next talk, which will be on the hard way. I think two different approaches to getting to it. So let's look at it all. All right, a lot of people come to this and see it sort of like mobile. Mobile broke onto the scene. It was a new paradigm, and people embraced it, and a lot of people make money on it. So people are looking, is this the next mobile thing? That's actually why Zazazu kind of got into it, because we had been doing mobile for a while and kind of became saturated. So this is a new thing. It's like, okay, maybe we can get it on the ground floor and, make some money. That's how a lot of people look at it. So that was 2.5 years ago. So it's been a bit of time. And, well, how has it gone? Well, from our personal point of view, there's mixed results, We've made some money, but not maybe as much money as we would have liked to have been made by this point in the time. A lot of people keep saying it's early days, but we've been doing this 2.5 years, so we'd really like to think we're past early days. So, in very quick summary, the easy way involves developing apps for other people, and the hard way involves developing apps that for themselves, that stand alone on themselves. So, the easy way, all right, well, that's kind of, what a lot of people are doing now, and pretty much everybody's making money now is doing it the easy way, which is to develop apps on commission for someone else. Okay, it's your typical developer for hire sort of thing. It's like you get the skills and the ability, then you go out and you find clients, and you sell them your services. So this kind of sidesteps the whole big burning question that people have, is whether this platform is of value. Okay, whether you can actually derive value through producing stuff on this platform, because this is not your job anymore. It's not your decision. It's not your responsibility. That's someone else's. It's a question, if they think so, then they can give you their money, and you just need to do what they want. Okay, the outcomes are their responsibility. You take home a paycheck, and they take the risk, and it's a simple transaction like that. The sort of places this is most often used for, and again, the bulk of these sort of apps that you see out there are brand awareness. Okay, there's a company wants to make a splash, wants to be seen to be doing stuff, wants to be seen to be embracing new stuff, so they want an Alexa or Google Assistant app. She's going to keep talking. And so they want to be there. It's like, okay, boom, say, well, you then, as a developer, say, I can get you there. Here's a contract, here's, how much I want, and I will get you there, and then they have a whole publicity engine they could put behind it to build and say, hey, we're a cool company because we're on an audio, we have an audio system. Isn't that awesome? And, again, they're building their brand, they're doing marketing, they're trying to attract users, they're trying to present a certain image. Okay, it's not about bottom line revenue. Okay, this is not an app that is necessarily going to make them money. It may enable users to use their services, but the amount of incremental income they get from that will probably not pay your paycheck. And if you're pursuing this thing, I wouldn't use that as an argument to try to persuade them, because it's something that's going to be hard to persuade them of. Okay, instead look at it as like, okay, force multiplier, get this, and if you have a marketing campaign, this can be part of it. People can see this as part of it, and it's like, you get more bang for your bucks because you spend a little extra on this. So, what steps do you take to pursue this approach? Okay, step one, find a company. All right, if you're going to be selling your services, you need to sell them to somebody. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can, Amazon has a sort of preferred development partners program where, they list you on a web page. That's about it. Sometimes they may recommend something to you or something like that, but if you have a really good relationship with Amazon, then you probably want to try to do that. You'll get more out of them. If you're just trying to get into this, they kind of don't want to list you unless you've already been successful, and if you can already be successful, it's kind of questionable how much more you get from them listing you. So it's really about your relationship with Amazon. Google, I'm not aware, has any similar program like that. So, you'd be on your own there anyways. So it's kind of up to you if that's a good pursuit for you or not. Another way to find a company is go local. Okay. Look around the businesses around you. If you, approach them, because that's easy. Okay, you say, hey, I go to your bake shop every day. How'd you like an app that tells people when the stuff is fresh out of the oven? Something like that. Again, since it's brand awareness, it only has to be marginally useful. It's mostly going to be used in marketing stuff rather than actually used by people. So, think of it like a commercial, okay, or something that adds to a commercial. So really, it's just, find them, some sort of awareness, stuff like that. We used to do mobile apps for restaurants we liked. Let's say, hey, we'll give you a mobile app. You can point people at it. People can take pictures of themselves having fun in your restaurant and post it to social media. How much value they give the customers, but it's something they can talk about. Hey, look, we have a mobile app. Cool. So, go local, people stuff like that. Use your connections. Okay, if people on LinkedIn say, hey, I'm getting into this, maybe do 1 or 2 promo apps, so you can, say, hey, this is the sort of thing I've done before. You have a portfolio of things, that's a great way to do it for charitable institutions, etc. Like that. They'll seldom say no, they'll seldom pay you, but if you're looking for a portfolio piece, that's not a bad thing to do. So that's step 1, find a company. Step 2, build a product. Okay, it's easier than it sounds. Okay, for something like this, keep it simple. Okay, use a template if that does what you want. There's all these like quiz templates and fact templates. It's like, facts about your local butcher or, whatever it is there. Because again, if the main exercise is brand recognition, it just kind of has to be something that people can talk about, and not necessarily something that you're not focusing on delivering end user value. So it's something that's people try it once, they say, well, that's kind of interesting, etc., like that. That's great. You're just trying to get it in front of people. So a simple skill is fine. Make it as flashy as you can. Anything that, again, if the main point is to get press for this, something that, a reporter can quickly understand and see and thinks it's cute, thinks it's nifty. You're not trying to win Innovator of the Year award here. Okay, you're trying to do something that gets a company print. Okay, so, flashy special sound. You definitely want to put like sound effects in, maybe get professional voice recording, or use Poly for just a bit of extra interest instead of the standard Alexa voice or something that makes it stand out a little differently, make it pop a little. So keep it simple, but try to be flashy about that. One of the things we've done is we've been approached by a couple of companies who want to do some promotion around a game that they're coming out with. So we wrote a book on games, and we kind of use like as a menu, saying, well, sir, here are a whole bunch of different styles of games that we could do, because that's very popular. We see a lot of movies do that. They bring out like a mobile game that's not much more than noughts and crosses or some simple game, but it's all with the trimmings of that particular media to promote it. In the same sense, you could have some sort of, game or something like that. Our book has a whole list of games, types that, in the ones on the lower end of the scale are not really hard to do. And again, you could just, write a bigger number next to the other ones and say, if you really want the real-time strategy game, well, this is what it will cost you. And they like to see if they have a big choice, they might settle for the ones further down, and makes things simple. But, that was a nice way for us to convey sort of give them a range of choices, and then they can pick amongst that, or come back to that later, something like that. So that's sort of that. Now, how much do you charge for this? A lot of people ask that sort of thing, and we're a consultancy company. Zazazu tends to do sort of time and materials, but we don't do too many of these sort of apps. Many companies prefer, for these sort of apps, just, okay, tell me how much, and that's it, because it's coming out of their marketing budget. So they would just want a number. And I've seen numbers from like $3,000 to $12,000 US. So, that gives you a framework. You decide what your time is worth, how much effort you think it's going to be, and don't forget to think of how much, of all the sort of talking and back and forth and demoing and teaching them how to enable it and stuff like that. We had gone contract that went south because, they didn't like our price because we're not cheap. But they settled for it, but then they wanted, to have like an extended hours and hours and hours of hand-holding on setting things up, and we're like, sorry, that's our time, and what we're charging you for is our time, and the development time and support time. Remember that, and factor that into it. So, the easy way, some of the advantages, okay, is that you really only need basic development skills. Okay, if you're just using a template, half the work done for you. If you don't really need to persist a whole bunch of database, and you're not being you don't need to have all of that hundreds of thousands of lines of code, or even tens of thousands of lines of code. Probably even less than 1,000 lines of code. Probably a couple hundred lines of code, and that'll probably do it. And again, if you can write basic skills, simple basic promotional skills, are not hard. Okay. And if you feel you can do a lot, put a low price tag on it. Okay. And go for the more marginal. Don't go for Capital One or Jeopardy or any big names. Just go for, like I said, go local, go small. Put a modest price tag on it. Build up your portfolio. Move further that way. The other advantage to this is you don't need to do a lot of support. Once you get them going with it and they like the concept, they're ahead of it, that's it. Usually these things, don't require online phone support to, coach users through how to do it. And you usually don't have to do any follow through because they're like, oh, this is great. It's tied to a marketing campaign. The marketing's over, and they're done. So they're very easy. Boom, quick money in, you're done. The other part is that you don't have to worry about promotion. Client's responsible for that. You do it, it's a work, you hand it over to them, and it's up to them to integrate it into their advertising campaign or whatever they want to use it for. Okay? And you're good. So, some of the disadvantages, that it's easy. So, there are lots of people doing it. Okay? You have competition. Okay? There's big houses out there doing it. Well, they're probably going to put a higher price tag on it. You can always compete, go for the bottom and put a low price tag on it. But it doesn't take a lot of skills to do. There's a lot of people that are going to be doing it. So you have to bear that in mind, that you're going to have competition. The other disadvantage is that this sort of thing is typically paid from a client's cost center. It's not generating revenue for them. Okay, so it's probably tied with some sort of promotional campaign that has a finite amount of time attached to it as well. And when they're done with that campaign, they're done with it. And they may move on to another campaign, but they like doing new and different things, so it's probably not going to be this again. So most of your clients are probably going to not be repeat customers. It's sort of a do it once, and then you've got to find another client. So that's kind of a disadvantage. The other thing is, the last disadvantage on the list is that, this, like I said, you're not concentrating on delivering bottom line value to somebody. It's all, oh wow, this is cool, this is great. You're using Alexa not so much for your Google Home, not so much for its utility, but for the hype around it. There's been a lot of media attention around it now. And are like, oh, look, companies are embracing this, and companies can jump in on that, and it boosts their marketing dollar, because they're doing something, they're using you to get this thing so that they can get more attention to it. Because there's this attention focused on these audio platforms, they can grab some of that and run with it and, and get a bigger boost. Now, fast forward a bit, this has been 2.5 years. If either the platform will go away, in which case there won't be any market because no one will care, or it will become mainstream, ubiquitous, like your clock radio. Everybody has one, and it's not exciting anymore, so this sort of app is not going to work anymore then. So, don't plan to pay your kids' college fees with this approach. Okay, if you're making a bit of money in the short term, that's great. Some people that have that attitude, it's like, well, let's milk it for all it's worth now, and when the corpse has had all the blood soaked on it and it's a desiccated hulk, we'll move on to something else. And that's fine. Can't argue with that. That certainly is one approach. So, that's my sort of summary of the easy way, which involves developing an app for other people. Step 1, find a company, find a client, persuade them that, this is something that could help boost them, whatever. Step 2, build it. Don't make it fancy, just do it. Deliver it, happy customer, put them on your web page and refer to that app. And, go running to the bank with your check. So, good luck with that. I'm going to try to keep this short. I'm going to do shorter videos now. I will talk in the next video about part 2, which is the hard way, which is actually trying to deliver value to customers to make bottom line revenue. This is considerably harder, but there's advantages and disadvantages to that approach there. But I'll see you then, and we'll talk about that then.